Hi everyone. So I was in the middle of filming a booktube video when I got this text from my sister-in-law. So it's just a link to a BuzzFeed article titled "Taylor Swift is starring in the movie version of Cats because why not?" And it has a picture of Taylor Swift and the character Victoria. I need to tell you how I feel about this news. And just kind of the whole Cats movie in general. I've been avoiding the topic because I thought if I ignored it, it would go away. So I've always felt a bit annoyed with people who are super, super elitist, super, super purist with whatever their fandom is, that they can't let other people enjoy it in their own way. Having your special version of your thing that you're super purist about, and everything else around that piece of property or fandom or what have you is not the real version of it. Like, this is, and like Star Wars fans come to mind, where the newer films are like, oh, that's not the real Star Wars, it's that, no, that doesn't count. No, those fans don't know what they're talking about. This is the pure version. And that just always kind of bugged me a little bit too. And I could never understand, why don't you just let people love the thing in whatever way they love it, and, and whatever comes next in the fandom, in the universe. That is, until the news of the Cats movie came about, and suddenly I understood those people. And I understood those feelings of wanting to protect this thing you love from outside forces changing it. Oh, and making it something that isn't real. And see, and this has even happened within the Cats fandom before, and I've been on the other side being like, hey, change happens. That's a part of musical theater. Shows evolve. Not to call anyone out, but I do know a lot of the UK fans aren't really into the revival, the Broadway revival that happened, because it's different, because things changed, choreographers changed, certain songs weren't in it, certain songs switched around a bit, and a lot of the people who had seen the London version more times than anything else didn't really like this new Broadway one. And I loved the new Broadway version. I thought it was wonderful. I really loved everything that they did with it. But I understand why some people don't. Because with the news of this movie, I'm just scared, is what it comes down to. I'm scared that it's going to be very bad. And I'm not even scared for myself as a fan, being like, you ruined my thing. Although one of the thoughts I have had was, keep your paws off my jellicles. But, it's more from the outside perspective. Because here's the thing. If the movie is bad, it will not only let fans down, but it will also give just that much more ammo to all the haters who love making fun of Cats, who love to hate on the musical, who love to hate on the fans. And this isn't something that is like a rare thing. Anytime I come into contact with someone from the theater community, there's always someone who is just ruthless with the why would you like that show? Just disgusted at the idea of someone loving the musical Cats. And so if the movie is really bad, this will just give them so much more fire to just, of course it's terrible because the musical's terrible. What were they expecting, And I'm just not looking forward to that. I'm not looking forward to all of that, negative feedback that I just know is going to happen. But see, then here's the thing too. I didn't grow up watching it over and over again in London because I grew up in the States. I did see it in London once, 18 years ago, and that was the first time I saw it live. So I did have that experience. It makes sense why it's so loved and why other versions don't always add up to it in a lot of people's eyes. I get it. I really do. But for me, the version that I grew up on was the video, the filmed stage production that was on Great Performances on PBS in 1998. This this is my Cats, right? This is my version of Cats. And a lot of the more purist fans say that, well, some of the characters' names are wrong and the roles are a little bit different, and, you know, certainly there's all those editing errors. Oh boy, those are fun to do little drinking games too. This isn't everyone's Cats, but it's my Cats. So maybe there'll be kids out there who will see this movie, and for them, that'll be their Cats. And through seeing this movie, that will bring them into the fandom of Cats, and they'll get to experience all the other versions via clips and this video and photos, and they'll kind of get exposed to the whole world of it, and it'll be thanks to the movie. So in that sense, I'm not completely against the idea of the film. I'm just worried. And they recently released some people that are in the cast. They listed 4 people who are in the cast. I'm going to try to guess who they're playing. So the first one, of course, is Taylor Swift, whom my sister Allie loves. She's a big Taylor Swift fan. I like nothing her. Like, she's fine. Meh. Fine, whatever. In the little preview image, she's put next to Victoria, which was like initially my thought, but they don't say any of the cast and who they're playing in the article. So, but let's say she was Victoria. That wouldn't make sense to me because Victoria doesn't have any singing solos. Although apparently that has also been in the rumor mill of there's going to be new songs and Victoria is going to have a bigger part and she's going to have a song. So maybe that's Taylor. Jemima might work because Jemima does have singing parts, but not a ton. Bombal Urena might make the most sense. Another person they listed was Jennifer Hudson, whom I believe is going to be Grisabella, because she can sing, and that just makes sense to me. Then they list James Corden. And I don't know, like, here's why I'm a little hesitant about James Corden. Because he does have a background in musical theater. Like, he's got chops on him, right? But every time I think of him in Cats, all I can picture is his Andrew Lloyd Webber Crosswalk musical. Which, if you've seen it, you know what I'm talking about. They're wearing actual Cats costumes and wigs, but their wigs don't match the costume they're wearing. Like, I think maybe it was James, someone had like one costume, a different character's wig, and like old Deuteronomy's beard, and it was just like bizarre, and there was multiple McCavities, and it was just so weird. And they didn't have time to do makeup, obviously, because they're doing all the other, or some other Andrew Lloyd Webber shows, so they put on these like plastic Halloween store like cat muzzles, which just, you always see that when people parody Cats, as they like do like prosthetic-y things, and it's like, no, that's not Cats. It's face paint. But you know, I get like why, and of course like the average person watching wouldn't realize that the wigs and the costumes were all mismatched and everything. But that's what I picture when I think of James Corden in Cats, and it's just, I can't help but laugh at that. So I don't know, who would he play? Like, I just don't understand if they're doing this where they're actually like in costume dancing, I can't picture him in any role. Maybe Bustopher Jones, maybe Old Deuteronomy, like roles that don't really dance. But maybe he can dance. I don't really know. Maybe he can dance. Maybe he would be Alonzo or Monkey Strap. I don't know. But see, then that's the other thing. Like, are they doing the CGI thing, which is another rumor I've heard? You know, in the same way that they're redoing The Lion King with an amazing cast of voice actors, but it's all going to be CG, which isn't, people are saying it's like live action Disney movies, but if it's all animals and they're all CG, that's not live action. That's just CG Lion King with a new cast. Except for James Earl Jones, who's reprising Mufasa. Yeah. I don't know. If they do it, like, that would make more sense, because then it would be, they wouldn't have to also dance. They would just be lending their voices to the cats. How would they do that? Like, are they making CG dancers, or are they're actually going to be like, you know, cats? Which, really wouldn't make sense to me either, because so much of this musical is about dancing. But I have to mention the last one, and that's Sir Ian McKellen, who I love. He's Gandalf. So that's my little like light of like, oh, maybe it's gonna be good. I don't know. I instantly thought of him as Gus, because again, I grew up on the movie version where another Sir John Mills plays Gus. But maybe he's Old Deuteronomy? But I can't really picture that. So okay, if you're a Cats fan, which I know some of you are, please let me know in the comments what you think about the Cats movie and this new casting news. Do you share my sentiments, which are all over the place, let's be real, or are you like one way or the other? And if you're not a Cats fan and you happen to be watching this video anyways, I'm an open book about this whole thing, so please ask me any questions you have. And yeah, oh gosh, please let it be good. Like, please let it be good. Okay, cats. Jello calls meow.